Hi everyone, I hope all of you guys are doing well. So first of all, I would like to wish all of you a very happy new year 2024. Thanks to all of the aspirants who have been watching all the videos that I've made in 2023. I'm very sure and I hope that you have learned a lot in the last 1 year. Now as we go into 2024, I wanted to address one important thing, which is how you can prepare for UPSC for the next 1.5 years and see yourself at Labasana in 2026. So how, if you are preparing for UPSC exam for the 2025 attempt, how from now on you can study properly. You have 1.5 years. It is enough for the UPSC preparation. How you can cover various aspects of UPSC in this 1.5 years in order to see yourself in Labasana very soon. Now for all the aspirants who are appearing for this exam in 2024, you can definitely learn a lot from the way I am going to strategize for you today, so that you can apply some of these tricks to the 2024 exam as well. But for most of you who are starting your preparations soon now in January, February, March, April, in the next 2 months, how you can calibrate your preparation in such a way that in 2025 you are writing the exam and you are well prepared to qualify. So I'm going to cover all the things, all the different things, starting from when you should start preparing, what you should study, what are the sources that you should refer to, where you should study, or where you can get inspiration, motivation, the right direction to study. I'm going to also cover how long it will take you to plan this and do the entire studies, how to practice, how to do. See, one is the whole studying part of the exam and the other is practicing part of the exam. So studying is different, practicing for the exam, the previous year questions, etc. How to practice, what kind of studies, where to get these particular practice test papers, etc. From that, I will be covering that. When to stop studying. Now that is very important. If you are studying a certain subject and you are continuing to study it endlessly, that is a very dangerous sign. So when to stop studying, I will be talking about. So all these different things I'll be covering. I will also be covering whether you need to enroll into any coaching institutes. All these different aspects, I'm going to also write them in the YouTube community, but I'm going to talk about them and hopefully you can learn a lot today. Throughout this session, you will get an overall view of what the UPSC exam is all about. Now, before I go into this particular talk, I want to also make one thing little bit clear to you guys, that see, UPSC exam is not only about studying and having sources, having books. It is also about soft aspects, intangible things, like what is your mental state, how are you managing your stress, how are you managing your motivation levels, how are you managing your sleep cycle, your exercise, your food habits, because you don't want to come out after 1.5 2 years of preparation in a state where you don't like yourself, that you have put on too much weight or you are not physically fit anymore, and maybe, hopefully not, but if you don't qualify the exam, then you are questioning the time you have put into this exam. Okay, you want to come out after 2 years as a person who is more learned, who has more knowledge, who has more understanding of the world, and who also feels good. So I will also be talking about that aspect of the exam. To be honest, I did not follow that. I did not have any guidance. I do not have any guide mentor to tell me that, but I wish I did, so that I could have maintained there. I put on a lot of weight during the whole preparation process. So I will be covering all these. I will also be telling you about what good YouTube sources you can refer to for the UPSC exam, different sources. I have a list of books. I will also tell you all those list of books and test series, etc. that you can take. So I will be covering all these different things today. So stay tuned and watch each of the sections so that you can get an idea. All right. So first of all, let's start with how you are going to start, plan and strategize your preparation for 2025. Now let's say you have an entire 1.5 year in front of you. You have around 18 months in front of you. You have to plan for these 18 months, and every day is going to be critical. Every month, every week is going to be critical. We have to be very good at using this 18 months. And remember that time management is very important for UPSC. Time management is super important. So we don't want to be wasting these 18 months. We're going to utilize them to the best, and then we are going to give our best attempt and maybe 1 or 2 more attempts, and we know that we have put all of our whatever capabilities we have into the exam, and then we don't have to worry. And I assure you that if you are not able to qualify UPSC, if you are appearing for some other exam, for any professorship, assistant professorship or something, you should also do that. So that plan B also I'm going to discuss on the side, so that you have something that you can always rely on in case UPSC is not coming. Alright, so first of all, when we start preparing for UPSC, when you have 18 months in front of you, you want to always plan backwards. That okay, my exam I have to take in, let's say, June 2025, I have to write my prelims. I have almost 1.5 years. How do I start backwards? In May 2025, in February, June, in January, February, March, April, May, in these 5 months, where do I want to be standing? And in this 12 months, where do I be standing? You have to do this entire calculation backwards. So the way I would do this calculation backwards is that I will keep the last 3 months completely dedicated for one and only one thing, which is the prelims. I will focus my entire energy on practicing prelims, previous year question papers, test series, etc. in the last 3 months, revising the entire syllabus in the last 3 months of prelims only, focusing my energy on how to solve PYQs, making sure I am getting 33% marks in CSAT exam. So that is what I will keep for the last 3 months. Okay. Before that, now minus 3 months, I have 15 months. These 15 months, I have to plan for various things. What do I have to plan for? Number one, I have to complete the entire main syllabus of GS 1, 2, 3, 4. While studying GS 1, 2, 3 for mains, you are also studying for prelims. No worries, no problem of panicking, nothing like that, because this mains preparation is going to help you both in prelims and the mains exam. So that is great. So GS 1, 2, 3 and GS 4, I have to study in these 15 months, plus I have to finish the entire optional in these 15 months, and plus I have to finish the entire essay preparation in these 15 months. So 15 months you have for all this. Now for GS 1, 2, 3, mostly you have current part and static part. So write it down. Just make a flow chart where you have GS 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, like GS 1, 2, 3, 4. And in GS 1, 2, 3 you have static and current part. Okay, so that you can separate out. GS 4 is mostly static and case studies only. Then you have your optional, and then you have your essay. Nothing else. This is the things that you're going to focus for the 15 months. Now in these 15 months, now the question will be from where to start. Do I start with essay? Do I start with ethics? Do I start with GS 1, 2, 3, 4? Do I start with optional? My answer to that is start with the syllabus. First of all, pick up the syllabus, read the entire syllabus properly, and make a habit of reading the syllabus, some part of the syllabus or the syllabus every day for the next 2 months, so that you are totally familiar with each and every component of the syllabus. Even if I ask you, you should know by hand, by memory, quickly, that this is there in GS2, this is there in GS3, this is there in GS4. Okay. After you start doing that, for the first 7 days, don't jump right into the studies. Let's say you're studying on Jan 1st, 2nd, 3rd, whatever. Don't jump right into the studies. Don't pick up a book and start reading it. First, make this entire plan that I'm telling you. And in this plan, first figure out what are the subjects you want to study before in Jan, Feb, March, April, and then what are the subjects you're going to study later. And then, of course, you're going to come to a prelims, last 3 months of prelims preparation. Okay. And then remember, after prelims, you will have around 2 months, 2.5 months or 3 months before the mains happen. So during this time also, it is important for you to utilize that. So how you will be utilizing that, I will tell you later after the prelims, after I have told you this. Okay. So now we know that next 15 months we have to study these subjects. Essay, I would not advise you to start right away. Why? Because essay, now I am using elimination method. I am going to eliminate all the things I don't need to do right now, and whatever is left over I have to do right now. So same elimination method you can use in the exams also sometimes for your prelims paper. So essay, no. Why? Because essay requires knowledge, it requires practice, it requires accumulation of knowledge that you're going to dump on the piece of the paper when you're writing the exam. So I would not recommend you doing the essay right away. There is no point. Leave it for later. Leave it for maybe 6-7 months from now. You can start preparing for essay when you have good knowledge base. You have already studied some history, some geography, some environment, So all these things will help you write a good essay also. Okay, so I will keep the essay for later, maybe 6-7 months. Optional, maybe, because optional is something I have to study, I have to finish. It is an important 500 marks out of 2025 marks of UPSC are from optional, and you require more than 280 290 marks you will definitely need in your optional in able to get the top 100 rank. I am going to focus on the top 100 rank only. So for that 500 marks optional, my first job is to pick the optional. If you have picked the optional, good for you. I would say that you may start first preparing for the optional and finish it in the next 2.5 months. That could be a good strategy. If you have not picked the optional, I would say spend the next 15-20 days first finalizing your optional. And on that I have made a video. I will put a link how to choose your optional. But it is very important for you to realize that for optional, should be a subject that you either love, that you really like, that you can study for hours, or it is a subject that you have studied in your undergraduation or graduation, so that you can revise it and it's already prepared well for you, and then you can get hopefully good marks. And or the third, the optional, which is a relatively stable optional where you can get good marks by giving good effort. For example, sociology, anthropology, political science, these are evergreen optionals. Sometimes maybe some fluctuations are there, but always most candidates who prepare well enough get good marks in these. So you can pick one of these optionals. That is your choice. You have to look at the syllabus of these optionals, read the old PYQs and become comfortable. But I would say that if you're someone who has finalized your optionals, study for it for the next 2.5 months, finish it off, maximum 3 months, finish it off, and then you can keep revising it midway. But right now, if you don't know what your optional is, I would say take 15 days, finalize your optional, give every day 30-40 minutes, 1 hour to figure out which optional you want to take, and then you can start preparing for optional in a few months. One other thing I would consider for deciding your optional would be, maybe if there is a good coaching available who has a good track record, who has been out there for a while, because they do help. There is definitely mixed experience of students with coaching institutes, but I would say if they are reputed, if they are good, then definitely their courses help, their materials help, they put in a lot of effort into their material. I would go for something like that. So that is how you prepare for optional. Think about optional. Now let's say you are someone who don't know your optional, then I would say first thing that you should always start is either economy, okay, or polity. Why do I say this? Because these are both neutral subjects in the sense that they are very important subjects for UPSC. One of the highest number of questions will come from either economy or polity or environment, these three. Environment I say for later. Once you've studied geography, I would say then you start studying environment, because that way you get a good background of studying environment. But economy and polity are subjects which anyways are in the news a lot. There are fixed sources for these particular subjects. You can go to those sources and study those sources, and there's a lot of good online YouTube classes also available. So if you are studying yourself, you can definitely get good classes for these two particular subjects. Sorry, not options, but these two subjects. So for economy and polity, whatever you feel more comfortable with, polity is one of the best subjects to start with. For example, because I say you can study, the source for polity is NCERT Constitution at Work. This is a NCERT book which is an evergreen amazing book, and the Lakshmikant book. These two books are great enough, more than enough for polity, and you can also refer to my notes. I will post them in the link for revision purposes only, not for studying, for revision purposes only. So that way your polity will be set. So you can spend almost 1.5 to 2 months on polity. It will take that much time to probably go in depth and get everything out of the way. The entire book is thick. It will take that much time. And along with that, you're studying polity. If you're studying 6 to 8 hours in a day, if you're studying polity, along with that, I would also start covering current affairs. Current affairs, I would start covering in the evening, give 2-3 hours to newspaper, give to current affairs magazine, and that will be sufficient. In the starting, it will not make sense. In the starting, you will feel like there is so much time the newspaper is taking. There is so much time this current affairs magazine is taking. But trust me, as you give more and more time to it, it will be very clear to you. All right. You just have to do it for a month or so, and then things will start becoming clear by themselves. See, I always say that UPSC is not like it's not like a short run or a kind of a sprint. You can't just run and then expect to get results. It is a marathon. You have to keep up the pace, you have to keep running, you have to have that stamina, you have to have that patience in order to succeed in it. So that is why I always say that current affairs is something that you have to master over a period of time. You have to go through that hard work, that inefficiencies. In a Housel book, Morgan Housel book, he talks recently, a book has come out, same as ever. In that, it talks about the fact that a lot of people, in the name of efficient, in the name of being efficient, don't go through the hard work, don't go through the actual kind of, when you have to dig something yourself, you're getting your hands dirty and all. You have to do that even in UPSC. You have to get your hands dirty, because you will do a lot of things wrong, and that is okay, because you will also learn how to do them right. Of course, you can avoid some things doing wrong by listening to classes like mine, but at the end of the day, without getting your hands dirty, without kind of doing wrong things wrongly, you cannot learn. And that learning process is very, very important. That inefficiency of going through things and realizing, okay, this is not how I should do it, this is how I should do it, that is very, very important. So I request all of you to do that, and for that, that will happen to you anyways. So in current affairs, don't shy away from it. Don't kind of become someone who is averse to doing this hard work. All right. So current affairs, every day you have to study for the next 6-7 months non-stop every day. Maybe some days you can plan to study one subject, but mostly I used to club current affairs with one subject. That is how I used to study. I did not complicate by studying 2 subjects at the same time. I used to study either optional current affairs or GS subject and current affairs. That is how I did it, and that is a very good formula to do it. All right. So finish polity, like I told you, it will take 1.5-2 months, and then go to economy. It will take another 1.5 months or so. So that way your 3 months will go, and in 3 months, in Jan, Feb, March, you should be done with your economy and polity, along with a substantial portion of current affairs. It will start making sense to you, and you will start getting an idea how to do your current affairs. Okay. So I told you now Jan to March, or plan to Jan to March is set. You don't have to think much. Apart from that, in Jan to March, also start looking at what you are going to do next. It is not only about just planning and studying, but also always thinking a little bit of a step ahead, and knowing that, okay, I have come so far and I have to go so far. So what do I do next? Like a good mountaineer, if you are a mountaineer, you can't be thinking just of the next step. You also have to think of the 10 steps from now, because this one step will affect where you are in 10 steps. If you take a wrong step now, it will not matter at all, because then in the 10 steps you're going to fail anyways. But if you make sure that your steps you're taking right now is good, by thinking what is going to happen in 10 steps, then that really matters. So what is going to happen a little bit in the future also you have to keep in mind. So keep in mind, if you are able to follow this particular plan or not. If you are lagging behind a bit, if it is taking you 15-20 days extra, that is okay. See, this plan, at some places you will get stuck. In some subjects you will be taking more time, in other subjects you will be taking less time. But the whole idea is to know that I am on average keeping up with my pace or not. All right. So for economy and polity, once you're finished with that, in April, now next you should go to history and geography. So April, May and June, you should be done with history, geography, and you should be done with, hopefully at the same time, with art and culture, because history and art and culture are similar. So first I would study history and then art and culture, and then I would study the geography. So in April, May and June, I would start studying your history, geography and art and culture. Now in history, the sources I would recommend to all of you is for modern India, for the freedom struggle, Bipin Chandra's book, great book, study that, or you can use Spectrum also. Spectrum is in notes format, so I always suggest to all the aspirants, first read Bipin Chandra and then come to the notes format book, which is Spectrum. Then NCERT ancient history book for the ancient part, and for medieval also you can refer to NCERT. Some of that is also covered in Spectrum book. Alright, there are also notes that come of various institutes, you can also refer to them for world history. Okay, because world history as it is not remaining any more such an important part of UPSC, but we have to study, we have to know the facts. So this is how I would study history, nothing more, nothing less. As far as making it interesting is concerned, if you are doing self studies on YouTube, there are a few channels which teach history really well, especially some channels from US and from Europe, which tell the history of the world in a very good way, not of obviously the Indian history. Indian history channels, I have not found any nice ones. If you find any nice ones, please share. I will definitely see them and recommend if they are worthy enough. But sometimes on Khan Academy, the American Khan Academy which is there, you can find some good lectures on history, that also you can refer to. Now, as far as your geography is concerned, simple subject can be done in 30 days max, 20 to 30 days. I would recommend to have Oxford Atlas. I would recommend you to have the NCERT Physical Geography book. And then there are PMF IAS also has geography notes, very good notes. So these will be sufficient. And there are very good repository of YouTube channels where you can look at the concepts. So a lot of these geography concepts have to do with maps, have to do with landscapes, have to do with physical earth forms, etc., etc. So all that you can, like for example, Amit Sen Gupta has a very good lecture series on geography. So you can refer to that for as a source for studying when you're studying yourself for geography. So this is how I would prepare for geography. Always keep the maps handy, the Oxford Atlas. Always refer to the Oxford Atlas, because the more you visualize in geography, the more you relate it with the map, the landforms, etc., the easier it will become for you. All right. So that is how I would study. So geography, history, and then art and culture. Art and culture, the best book is obviously Nitin Singhania's book, Art and Culture book. Earlier his notes used to come, now it is a proper book and it's a very good book. And there is also NCERT books on art and culture. I would put the links here which you can refer to. There are some online sources like CCRT and etc., which I will also post here so that you can study them or use them. Now, art and culture should not take you more than 15 to 20 days, even though the book is very big. It looks like a lot, but once you've studied history, it becomes very easy, because a lot of these things are interrelated and you can always make sense of, okay, this time period refers to this art and culture. So like that you can study. All right. So that is how I would study for April, May and June. So now I am done with how many subjects? I am done with economy, polity, geography, history, art and culture. Almost 5 subjects I am done with by June, in around 5 months. Plus minus 15 days. I always say take another 15 days. Let's say by the end of June, half of July, mid-July, you are able to finish these 5 subjects. Okay, now how many subjects are there total? GS 1, 2, 3. If you say, you have history, geography, polity, environment, art and culture, science and tech, society and economy. So there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 subjects. Out of 8, we have done 5 subjects. Now we are left with around 3 subjects, which are society, science and tech. Now science and tech will get covered a lot along with your current affairs that you're doing. So I told you, when you're studying these subjects, also try to study current affairs for 2-3 hours a day. So with that, you're studying newspaper, you're studying the Vision IS current affairs magazine of the month that comes out. So along with that, the science and tech will also get prepared, because a lot of science and tech questions are not technical in nature, but they are more current affairs based. What is happening in the world of science and tech. So you can always prepare them for the current affairs magazine. So science and tech will get covered anyways. So like this, now out of 8, your 6 subjects are covered. Now you are left with society. Okay, you are left with society, and did I count it wrong? I have done history, I have done geography, I have done polity, environment. Oh, environment is left, sorry. So now society and environment I am left with. I told you, study environment always after geography, because in geography you will become familiar with certain concepts that are related to environment, and it will help you. It will help you overall to have context. So environment I will start after this in July. So in July, and by end of August, your goal should be to finish the environment subject thoroughly, because environment is very, very important. A lot of questions come. So I would spend a considerable amount of time on environment to become a master of environment. There is a book of environment that you cannot get physical copy of, but only an online copy PDF is available. I will post it in the description so you can download it and study it. An excellent book on environment. Study that before anything. After you've studied that book, then study the PMFIS environment notes. Those will be good. These two, if you do well, I'm telling you, will be well prepared for the environment part. And along with that, obviously, you're doing current affairs. So like this, by end of August, your entire GS 1 to 3 preparation is done. Society is left. Society needs not more than 7 days. There is an NCERT book and Ram Ahuja book on basic concepts like globalization, the issues related to women, old age persons. Now as our generations are changing, that digital changes are coming, etc. So all these familial structures, etc., all these very classic topics of society will not take you more than 7-8 days. So I would say by end of August you can finish all these 8 subjects quite well. All right, and your current affairs will also be quite well done. So within 8 to 8.5 months you are well prepared for GS 1, 2 and 3, and remember also your prelims, because all these things are going to come in your prelims. Okay, so you are now well placed to have done all these things at least once. You have done it. Now your revision, etc., will start, but obviously your optional is left and your essay preparation is left. Okay, these two things are left. Now in August, what I would go ahead and do is I would go ahead and subscribe to the optional classes, if possible maybe a little bit ahead also, and do that alongside an essay classes. Essay classes are basically nothing, test series. You subscribe for test series and start taking every week, or once in 2 weeks you start writing essays, and slowly you start improving. As far as the sources are concerned, I will post some of the essay booklets that I have created myself. You can read them for free on description. I will put that link so that you can refer to this essay notes. That will help you a lot. And just wait for a couple of days. I will not put it right away because I have limited amount of time, but I will put them all in the description. So you can prepare for the essay from those notes also. You can get an idea how to prepare for an essay. Okay, but it is mostly about practice. The more you practice for essays, the better you get. So I would say subscribe to a test series for essay. And for optional, once you start in, let's say, August, you need around 3.5 months to prepare for your optional, or maybe maximum 4 months. In 4 months, you should be able to completely finish your optional. If you have studied it before, it will take you little bit less time. But of course, you have to put in a lot of effort. You have to be putting in 8 hours, 9 hours every day. Because to be honest, optional is very vast. It contains all the entire undergraduate studies, and you are competing, you have to be good. So for optional, 4 months, August, September, October, November. So by November to December end, max by December end, I want you to be prepared completely. So I have given you around 4 to 5 months to prepare for optional. That is enough. And along with that, remember, you're also doing your current affairs. You're also doing your newspaper on a daily basis. Now, one more thing I'm going to drop here is, you don't want to forget all you have studied so far, right? So you have to also keep revising the important chapters and the important subjects while you are doing your optional. So every 2-3 days, open the important subjects I would like you to revise is polity, environment and economy. These 3 subjects, polity, environment and economy, and if possible geography, economy and geography, you also start revising them alongside with optional. So obviously you can't give too much time, because optional will also take up a lot of time. 2-3 hours. Your current affairs will also take, but every day try to take out 1 or 2 hours, or maybe someday you have taken out more time when you're not feeling like studying the optional, and you revise, because that revision will really help you. It will help you cover these subjects twice and then thrice before the prelims, and that will really put together your preparation well. Okay, so that is very, very important. So during these 4 months, also keep revising, trying to, let's say on a Sunday, on a Saturday, like I used to study 7 days a week. I did not have break of 1 day. I did not have weekends. So when you're studying for 7 days a week, there is always possibility of finding time to study polity, environment somewhere or the other, or economy or geography, because it is very important that you keep doing that active recall and doing revisions, so that you are not forgetting all these things, you are remembering the core concepts, etc. Okay. Anyways, so now I have told you a very decent plan. Now we have come to Jan of next year 25. In Jan 25, now you have till around May or June 25, right? You have 4-5 months. During these 4-5 months, last 3 months I told you, you will have to focus completely on your UPSC prelims preparation. So doing a lot of PYQs, revising. But these 2 months are left. Now in these 2 months, you can do a lot of answer writing practice. So around in December or Jan. Okay, so if you are a candidate of aspirant of this year, even now, December, Jan, Feb, you can start doing some answer writing practice, so that before mains, after prelims and before mains, you have done it once at least. Thoda thoda to aana chahiye. So you have done it once at least. So I would do that. I would start and just pick up a book. My book is there, which is coming out soon in a few days. With Tata McGraw, so you'll be very happy to see it's a very high quality 2021, 22, 23 papers solved. So all that you're going to get. But anyways, start. I have done so many answer writing classes for you. I have told you if you just go to the YouTube channel and go to the answer writing playlist, you will find so many videos, and everything you need to know about answer writing is there. All right, so I would say go through that, prepare and start practicing for UPSC answer writing, and do it for good 2 months, 1.5, 2 months, and then you come into the prelims paper. But obviously, do the essay writing. See, answer writing you don't need to do whole day. You need only 2-3 hours to do it. Apart from that, you have to study only. But that putting pen on the paper is very important. To get that orientation, to get that feeling is very, very important. All right. Now, I have told you about the sources. I have told you about current affairs. I have told you about how to plan this entire year and how you will be studying. Now, the important part is that you put this plan to work. Now, for that, this intangible things matter a lot. Like, what are your motivation levels? What is your patience level? How disciplined you are? And for that, I have shared a lot of techniques, a lot of things that I would do. In last video, I shared how I used to plan my daily studies, how I would read a specific number of pages in a day, how I would use the evening time for active recall, how before sleeping I would plan for the next day. All these things I have told you. How I am a morning person, I have utilized my morning time really well. Now, apart from all this, what is important is that you have to really make up your mind. I told you all this, but then you will say, sir, I'm not motivated, I feel down sometimes, I'm not able to focus, I have concentration focus issues. Recently I did a video on how we are addicted to mobiles and how the mobiles are hurting our overall attention spans and our overall productivity. So I gave various ways in which you could get rid of this social media addiction, this dopamine addiction that we have. So that is very important. You have to develop, sometimes we have to make this mindset that we have to focus and we have to get this task done. And then when we make up that mindset, उस mindset से बहुत फर्क पड़ता है, क्योंकि जब तक वो mindset नहीं होता तो क्या होता है, हम अपने ही छोटे एक्टिविटीज़ में फंसे रहते हैं. और जब तक उन mindset से बाहर निकलने के लिए आपको एक प्रण करना पड़ता है, एक अपने आप को वादा करना पड़ता है, एंड देन यू हैव टू वर्क ऑन दैट. उसमें मराठी में अमल बजावनी बोलते हैं. यू हैव टू काइंड ऑफ अमल करना पड़ता है उस चीज़ पे, चलना पड़ता है उस रास्ते पे. तो that is very, very important. It is very important for all of you to realize that I am here to tell you things. I can tell you things. मैं तुम्हें प्लान बना के दे सकता हूँ, सब कुछ दे सकता हूँ, बट करना तो तुम्हें पड़ेगा. तो I want all this aspirant who have till now watched this video that take up this challenge, that I will give 1.5 years of my life to this, full in, completely dedicated, realizing my mistakes along the way, knowing कि मैं कहाँ पे कम पढ़ रहा हूँ, कहाँ पे ज़्यादा पढ़ रहा हूँ, कहाँ पे मैं क्या गलतियाँ कर रहा हूँ. सही से टेस्ट सीरीज़, आप जहाँ पे आपको टेस्ट सीरीज़ लगानी है, टेस्ट सीरीज़ लगा लो. 2-3 टेस्ट सीरीज़ में हमेशा कहता हूँ, जैसे विजन IAS की है वो अच्छी है, इनसाइट्स ऑन इंडिया की अच्छी है, फोरम IAS की अच्छी है टेस्ट सीरीज़ मेंस के लिए बहुत. तो ये टेस्ट सीरीज़ लगा लो, एसए की टेस्ट सीरीज़ लगा लो, प्रैक्टिस करो, ये सारे बुक्स पढ़ो, ये सब करो. पर एट द एंड ऑफ द डे व्हाट इट कम्स डाउन टू बॉयज डाउन टू इज़ कि आप अपना भी सेल्फ एनालिसिस कैसे कर रहे हैं, सेल्फ क्रिटिक कैसे कर रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेट्स से यू हैव रेड एंटायर हिस्ट्री, आपने PYQs उठाए UPSC के लास्ट ईयर के, लास्ट टू लास्ट ईयर के, पर उसमें से एक भी क्वेश्चन आपको सॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है. देन व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दैट? द मीनिंग ऑफ दैट इज कि आपने अच्छी तरह पढ़ा नहीं है. ऑब्वियसली, क्योंकि वहीं बुक से ही क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं. कुछ क्वेश्चंस आउटसाइड से आते हैं, उनको छोड़ दो. बहुत मुश्किल आउटसाइड से कहीं से क्वेश्चन आ रहा है, छोड़ दो, वो टॉपिक भी नहीं मिल रहा है बुक में. पर पॉलिटी का हर एक क्वेश्चन बुक से आप सॉल्व कर सकते हो. इकोनॉमी का ऑलमोस्ट हर एक क्वेश्चन आप इकोनॉमी बुक से सॉल्व कर सकते हो. तो ये सब करने के लिए आपको एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इट इज़ इंपॉर्टेंट टू सेल्फ इवेल्युएट योर सेल्फ. अब मैंने आंसर राइटिंग बुक में आपका आंसर राइटिंग का पूरा सेल्फ इवेल्यूएशन का फ्रेमवर्क बना के दिया है. पर यहाँ पे सेल्फ इवेल्यूएशन कैसे करना है, यहाँ पे अपने आप को टेस्ट करते रहना है थ्रू आउट दिस एंटायर प्रोसेस. मैंने आपको जैन से जुलाई तक का पूरा प्लान बताया, पर उसके साथ जो सेल्फ इवेल्यूएशन आपको करना है उसका ये प्लान है कि आप बीच बीच में थोड़े थोड़े PYQs उठा के देखते रहिए, थोड़े से प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस, थोड़े से टेस्ट सीरीज़ के क्वेश्चंस उठा के देखते रहिए. इधर उधर फोरम से आपको मिल जाएंगे और देखते रहिए कि हाँ मैं सही राह पे चल रहा हूँ कि नहीं, हाँ मेरा आंसर राइटिंग सही हो रहा है नहीं. मैंने आंसर राइटिंग की पूरी बुक में अच्छी तरह से सॉल्व करके टॉपर्स के भी दिखाएं, अपने भी दिखाएं, उनसे मैच करिए अपने आंसर्स. ऑब्वियसली सेम नहीं होंगे, राइटिंग स्टाइल्स बहुत अलग होंगी, कंटेंट थोड़ा सिमिलर हो सकता है, पर आंसर राइटिंग स्टाइल्स डिफरेंट होंगी. पर वही बात कहना चाह रहे हैं कि नहीं आप उस आंसर से. सिमिलरली प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करें तो राइट और रॉन्ग ही आंसर होगा. तो आप कुछ सॉल्व, जैसे आफ्टर 6 months ऑफ प्रिपरेशन आप 30% क्वेश्चन तो सॉल्व कर पाएंगे. आफ्टर स्पेंडिंग 1 year इन प्रिपरेशन आप 50-60% तो सॉल्व कर पाएंगे. तो वो ज़रूरी है. दैट काइंड ऑफ चेकिंग, सेल्फ इवेल्युएशन इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और उस सेल्फ इवेल्युएशन को आप करने के लिए आपको कोई सिखाएगा नहीं, वो खुद ही करना होगा, खुद ही आपको अपने आप ही उसका रास्ता ढूंढना होगा. ठीक है, पर मैंने आपको बता दिया उसका इंपॉर्टेंट, और मैंने ये भी बता दिया कैसे करना है. अब उसको इफेक्टिवली कैसे करना है वो खुद करके ही सीखना पड़ेगा. और उसका एक सबसे बढ़िया तरीका PYQs करो और चेक करो कि आपके ठीक हो रहे हैं कि नहीं, हर स्टेज पे, हर 2-3 महीने में. और इवेंचुअली तो आप पूरा PYQs ही करोगे लास्ट 3-4 months में, जैसे मैंने आपको एडवाइस किया है. ठीक है, तो सोर्सेज सारे मैं आपको बता दूंगा, डेफिनेटली दिखा भी दूंगा. सारे के सारे जो सोर्सेज हैं वो मैं आपको अभी मेरा जो कमेंट सेक्शन है या डिस्क्रिप्शन सेक्शन में मेरे सोर्सेज सारे शेयर कर दूंगा. वहाँ पे आप उनको रेफर टू कर सकते हैं. बट आई थिंक आई हैव कवर्ड मोस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स. कोचिंग जाना है कि नहीं ये बात थोड़ा बता देता हूँ. इफ़ यू वांट टू जॉइन एनी काइंड ऑफ कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट, रिमेंबर थोड़ा क्रेडिबिलिटी देखो. एवरी कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स विल क्लेम कि उसके यहाँ से बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स निकले हैं. मुझे जो लगता है सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है, आप थोड़ा सा फैकल्टी को जाके देख लो, थोड़ा सा मिलो, वो किस तरह से आपको मिसगाइड. देखिए कई बार जो कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स होते हैं उनमें ब्लाइंडली आपको विश्वास नहीं करना चाहिए. थोड़ा सा अपना कॉमन सेंस यूज़ करो, किस तरह का मटेरियल आपको दे रहे हैं, उनका पास्ट रिकॉर्ड इन द सेंस नॉट फ्रॉम टॉपर्स नहीं, वो किस तरह का मटेरियल देते हैं, उसका पास्ट रिकॉर्ड क्या है. अब विजन आईएएस का आप मटेरियल देखो, या फिर आप फोरम आईएएस का मटेरियल देखो, इनसाइट्स ऑन इंडिया, इनका अच्छा मटेरियल है, इनका काफ़ी डिसेंट मटेरियल है, और ये सालों सालों से ये करते आए हैं. तो मुझे लगता है ओवरऑल स्टिकिंग टू दिस क्लासिक इंस्टीट्यूट इज नॉट ए प्रॉब्लम. ठीक है, अब पर और बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स भी हैं जो आपको बताएंगे ऐसा करो वैसा करो. अपना माइंड ज़रूर यूज़ करो. कौन सा ऑप्शनल पिक करना है उसमें अपना माइंड यूज़ करो, किसी टीचर के ऊपर डिपेंड मत हो. मैंने बहुत सारी वीडियोस बनाए ऑन हाउ टू चूज़ योर ऑप्शनल. मुझसे ज़्यादा अच्छा कोई आपको बता नहीं पाएगा, कोई चैलेंज करता हूँ आपको. सिमिलरली कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स में मैं कहता हूँ कि इट इज़ योर ओन चॉइस. आप ज्वाइन करना चाहते हैं डेफिनेटली ज्वाइन करें. इट हेल्प्स ए लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स, बट लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स इट डजंट हेल्प ऑल्सो. मुझे हेल्प नहीं किया, मैंने ज्वाइन नहीं किया. गौरव अग्रवाल सर एक टॉपर हैं 2014 के, उनको कभी हेल्प नहीं किया, उन्होंने नहीं किया ज्वाइन. ठीक है ना. तो इस तरह से आपको ज्वाइन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है जब आपको उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है. आप ऑनलाइन भी पढ़ सकते हैं, आजकल सब रिसोर्सेज हैं. पर आपको लगता है आपको दैट एनवायरनमेंट हेल्प्स यू, दैट गाइडेंस यू रिक्वायर, तो डेफिनेटली मैंने आपको 3-4 नाम बताए हैं. आई एम नॉट एफिलेटेड टू एनीवन, आई नो ऑल ऑफ देयर फाउंडर्स, नो देयर पीपल. वो जेन्युइनली बिजनेसमैन भी हैं और जेन्युइनली वो चाहते भी हैं कि उनका इंस्टीट्यूट अच्छा मटेरियल, अच्छा कंटेंट दे बच्चों को. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि वो मेलिशियसली बस पैसे बनाना चाहते हैं. दोनों चीज़ें होता है, बिजनेसमैन तो हैं, बट दे ऑल्सो वांट टू प्रोवाइड गुड स्टफ टू स्टूडेंट्स. So it is okay, go to them with a pinch of salt, always use your own mind, that is very very important. All right, so that is my opinion with coaching institutes. But don't go कि rank 1 कहाँ से है, rank 2 doesn't matter. जब विजन आईएएस में गौरव अग्रवाल सर ने कोचिंग लिया था, विजन आईएएस को बहुत सारे लोग नहीं जानते थे उस टाइम पे, बट उसके बाद जब सर की AIR1 आई तो वो बहुत बड़ा हो गया अचानक से, एवरीवन, बिकॉज इट वाज मेकिंग, वो अच्छा इंस्टीट्यूट था उस टाइम पे, अच्छा प्रोवाइड कर रहा था, पर काफ़ी लोग जानते नहीं थे उसके बारे में. सो वही मैं कहता हूँ कि इट इज़ जस्ट लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स इट इज़ ranks that come, so coaching institutes use these ranks to showcase, but at the end of the day आपको अपने आप डिसीजन बनाना पड़ेगा. खाली रैंक देख के मतलब उसका मटेरियल, कंटेंट, क्या सर्विस आपको प्रोवाइड कर रहा है, क्या पढ़ा रहा है, किस तरह की चीज़ दे रहा है, वो देख लो. और मैं जिनको जानता हूँ मैंने उनके बारे में आपको बता दिया, जिनसे मैंने इन कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट से मटेरियल लिया है, डेफिनेटली लिया है, टेस्ट सीरीज़ ली हैं, इनका मटेरियल यूज़ किया है. कैसे? वो आप टेलीग्राम पे सब कुछ डाउनलोड हो जाता है आजकल, ठीक है, वो सब आप यूज़ कर सकते हैं. Now when to stop studying, that is very important. I feel like कि जब आप डिसेंटली आपको लगने लगे कि मेरा PYQs में ठीक ठाक मेरे को स्कोर आ रहा है, 60% 50% में सॉल्व कर पा रहा हूँ, उस टाइम पे आप ये पढ़ना बंद कर सकते हैं. आई थिंक दैट इज़ गुड इनफ टाइम. क्योंकि अगर आप ज़्यादा परफेक्शन के चक्कर में रहेंगे कि मेरे 100% PYQ सॉल्व होने चाहिए, मुझे सब आना चाहिए, वो नहीं होने वाला. आप जब 50-60% पे आ जाएं, स्टॉप स्टडिंग और फिर उसको रिवाइज करना शुरू कर दो. वो कंफर्ट लेवल 60-70% ऑफ PYQs पे आ जाना चाहिए आपको, ठीक है. ओवरऑल यही होता है यूपीएससी का प्रिपरेशन, इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं है. देर आर सम गुड टॉक्स डन बाय सम अदर टॉपर्स, वो भी आप देख सकते हैं. दिस इज़ ए मोनोलॉग. अगर मेरे सामने बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स बैठे होते तो मैं और आपको अच्छी अच्छी चीज़ें बताता आज, बट दिस इज़ ए मोनोलॉग. इट इज़ डिफिकल्ट टू गिव अ मोनोलॉग. Other good YouTube sources to refer to, Amit Sen Gupta is good, Shivin is good. करंट अफेयर्स के लिए कुछ न्यूज़पेपर्स वगैरह के चैनल्स हैं, वो देख लो. बट मुझे लगता है कि न्यूज़पेपर्स वगैरह ये हमेशा फिजिकली पढ़ने चाहिए, उससे ही असली प्रिपरेशन होती है. पर्सनली मैं ऑनलाइन न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग का या हाईलाइटिंग का बहुत बड़ा फ़ैन नहीं हूँ. धीरे धीरे आएगा वो. आप उसको ज़्यादा पुश करोगे कि एकदम फर्स्ट डे से पता लग जाए कैसे पढ़ना है, वो नहीं होता, टाइम लगता है, ठीक है. तो ओवरऑल this is what I wanted to tell you today. Mission Labasna 2026, 2025, 26. I hope I see one of you on the other side, many of you on the other side. Keep me updated. Send me. I will give you an email address soon. I'm preparing one so that where you can communicate with me. क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा email आ जाते हैं तो मुश्किल हो जाता है. But I hope after watching this video you get a good sense, good learning at the beginning of the new year. Happy New Year again, and take care, and hopefully in 2024 together we will learn a lot of new things. All right, take care, bye bye.